Today I wanna talk about an editor who is exactly how you imagine him to be. Hello everyone, it's Mr. Troll delivering an update. It's been a while since we talked about Pokimane on here. I thought she would no longer be with us ever since she announced she was leaving, but I guess she was only leaving Twitch, and she is still going strong. And as of lately, this clip of her has been floating around the internet, and in this clip, Pokimane is giving us a story time of one of her editors.
Many years ago, when I was like super omega active on YouTube and I was working with a lot of different editors. There was one editor in particular that I would work with a lot because his edits were really good, but he had one major problem, which was that sometimes out of nowhere his videos would just be like a week or two late. Months go by and he messages me out of the blue and he says, "Hey, do you have time to talk? I'm ready to finally tell you why I've been struggling so much with deadlines."
So when you're a child and someone tells you, "Hey, do you have time to talk?" You're like, "Yeah, sure, I love talking." But then it turns out the things that someone tells you is something that leaves you depressed. Basically, it's never good news. When I was like 15 years old, I made up the statistic that perhaps 65% of everyone who says, "Hey, do you have time to talk?" has nothing but horrible news to deliver. Now that I am in my 20s, I know that it's not 65%, but pretty much 100%. Therefore, if you tell someone else, "Hey, do you have time to talk?" then that someone else will always be prepared for the worst and you will create a bunch of awkwardness in the room. This is why there is this unwritten social rule that you should never tell anyone, "Hey, do you have time to talk?" But this editor broke that rule nonetheless because he is oblivious to social norms. Because, how do I put it? This editor is probably acoustic, okay? I said probably, because I'm not completely sure. I am actually only projecting here, because I personally had trouble understanding this social norm for so many years. I'm sorry for projecting, okay? Let's just move on.
Tell me why he proceeds to tell me that the reason why he would sometimes turn around videos a week or two late is because he couldn't stop touching himself? I was trying to pick which word to use. To me, his, in a way, employer of many months.
The fact that the editor actually said this out loud to her, like, you might be saying, "Oh, he had to tell her that because he needed to explain why he was missing deadlines." But imagine if you were actually in that position. Would you share that kind of stuff? Because you couldn't torture this kind of explanation out of me.
When I tell you I've never halted a conversation so fast, because I'm like, you are the person that I send like hours of footage to. I don't want to know what you're jacking it to. I don't want to know more. I shouldn't even know how much I know right now. I shouldn't know.
This is exactly why you should never share this kind of information to anyone. Like, seriously, what kind of response was this editor expecting out of her? "Oh, now I finally understand why you've been missing deadlines. Good to know. Keep it up, bro." Like, let's just continue.
But I felt so bad. So when he's like, you know, like, this is like an addiction of mine, I genuinely felt really bad. So I still paid him for months. What the hell do I do? Fire him? Am I even allowed to fire someone because they're...
Yes, you should have fired him with no hesitance. And this is for two main reasons. Number one, the editor was over a week late with his edits. So he was just not a competent editor. He was not doing his job well, and so he should be replaced with someone else who can do the job better. I don't care how bad you feel for someone, because if you do, you're a horrible boss. I'm sorry, but in business, you should not involve feelings and sympathy. You should instead involve efficacy, effectiveness, and efficiency. No, those are not synonyms. There is a difference between those words. One of them means doing the right thing, other one means doing things right, third one means, well, I don't even know what it means. However, the second reason, and this is genuinely for the good of the editor, is because he was clearly suffering from an addiction. You should have taught him that this is not a healthy addiction, and if you had showed him that his addiction would have horrible consequences, then guess what? That would have probably encouraged him to break his addiction and work towards becoming a better person. But no, instead, he's now probably not an editor anymore, but a Discord mod. And all because you were too nice to him.